Okay, hello everyone, say a nice big hello.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to the Slam Jam Wrestling Show. This is the show today where we are going to be reacting to everything that's happened in the world of professional wrestling and especially to AEW's Full Gear event, which was this last weekend. So, on the show today, there is me, I am David, but we are also joined by Darius. Say hello to the people.
Hello.
Hello. And we also have Gav. Say hello to the people.
How you guys doing? You alright?
Well, hopefully they are all out there somewhere in internet land. I'm still sharing this out, so if you are watching it, audience, feel free to click the share button yourself. But yeah, let's get straight into it. First of all, have we all seen Full Gear?
Oh yes.
Yes. So lots of stuff to unpack from this show, but initial impressions, did we like it? Good show? Did it let down? Was there initial thoughts without getting into too much detail to begin with? Yes, no, what do we think?
I don't want to steal anyone's gimmick, but yeah, thumbs up.
Yeah, well, yeah, don't do the half thumbs up. But yeah, so it was a big night for AEW, their last pay-per-view of the year, if I am correct. The next one is not going to be until January. Yeah, absolutely. And is that Revolution?
We believe so.
Yeah, absolutely. But so yeah, let's go through what do we think was our favourite match of the show. Let's start there.
Me?
Yeah, Gav.
I think it's the opening one.
Oh, Darby and MJF.
Darby and MJ, yeah.
I completely agree, man. That it's set the show on fire to begin with.
Brilliant match, good storytelling. They've put in quite a bit of everything in that match, so yeah, I'm impressed.
Yeah. Darius, how about you? Do you agree, or do you have another nominee?
My favourite was probably Punk and
Kingston?
Kingston, that's the one. I forgot it was a pretty match. Yeah, I love that match. Again, really good story. Both really good workers on the mic. And they built it up. And obviously, Eddie had the whole, I don't know if you read it, an article that came out where he was explaining about sort of his background. I think that played into it as well. It was a really, really good match. Don't take nothing away from all the other matches. It's like choosing between your kids, these matches, to be fair, is almost impossible to do. I thought the first three matches were just superb.
What were the other matches at the beginning? Oh, Lucha and FTR.
I'm so sad I actually done some notes on it.
No, good. I like it.
Sent them through to you guys, didn't I?
Yeah.
Lucha Brothers versus FTR.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And you had the six-man tag match.
Six-man tag? No, I think we're skipping over. Wasn't there Danielson and Miro?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my God, that six-man tag though, that was insane.
Yeah.
Oh, Luchasaurus. Like, can that guy move? That's shooting star stage dive. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go match by match and react to some of the things and where we think things are going next. Did anyone see the pre-show? I didn't, to be honest. Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa defeat Jamie Hayter and Nyla Rose. I didn't know that happened. I'll be honest, I didn't see it.
It wasn't a bad match, to be fair. Pretty decent. My partner's a fan of Nyla Rose on Twitter, so we watched it. Yeah, it was a pretty good match. I think all the women did really well, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's do something fun here. Let's give it, we don't have to put too much thought into it, but let's give it our personal 5-star rating system. So we can
pay-per-view or
let's go match by match. We can give some thoughts, but then let's pick a number out of thin air.
I was going to say, with regards to the buy-in, obviously I feel like you have to put the faces over just to get the ball rolling.
That's a really interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that? Oh gosh, that'd be an interesting thing to look back. Not just obviously the buy-ins on AEW, but any of the free-for-alls as they once upon a time were called in WWE. Do the baby faces go over? But yeah, okay. So what would you, Darius? If you saw that match, what would you give it out of 5? Shida and Rosa, Hayter and Rose.
I'd say about 3.5. Yeah, about 3.5. Don't get me wrong, it was a good match, but nothing spectacular. Not that it felt like they were running through the motions, but it was pretty bog standard as far as matches go.
Just like a tease. Gav, did you see that match?
I didn't see it.
Okay, no, that's no worries. Okay, MJF against Darby Allin. Let's give some thoughts on this to begin with.
Go on, Gav.
Okay, as I said before, it had everything in it. So you had your false finishes, you had the reversals, you had your high spots, you had your chain wrestling.
Yeah, okay. Shall we just briefly speak on that insane sequence of the reversing pins?
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever actually seen something go on that long, and literally in the end going the whole way around the ring.
That was a little bit gaga, as they say.
Yeah. Do you know what? I imagine, though, as they were both in there, they must have been just like, this is so much fun. This is so much fun. And they're getting paid for it. Literally doing a two-man roly-poly around the ring. But, yeah, no, I think overall it was a brilliant match. I thought it was an absolutely electric way to start the pay-per-view. It got, MJF as well. I feel like with that match, he really showed that he is a good in-ring wrestler. He had a lot of different moves he was doing. It wasn't just that he's a character. He showed that everything that Darby threw at him, he could match stuff. He's not a flippy floppy guy, but he did a devastating pile drivery thing or whatever it was. The ending, I think, completely it meant that they both get over. It was a smart ending. But yeah, Darius, what did you think?
Absolutely. I think on the other side of it, Darby showed how physical he could be. I remember, I think it was a suicide dive when he came to the ropes and he just absolutely lumbered into MJF as he hit him. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, that must have hit both of them, to be fair. Equally impressed with Darby. And I think it's probably going to be the beginning of a storyline that we'll get to see sort of end 2-3 years down the line with Darby versus MJF for the title. I think.
Okay, interesting. Have either of you seen Dynamite from last night?
No.
Shit. I won't give any spoilers. No spoilers.
I saw the first segment. That's it.
Yeah. Well, okay. So the minor spoilers, just they don't immediately follow that through, but they don't ignore it either. So there is more to come, basically.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Okay. Gav, do you have any more thoughts on MJF Darby?
Again, just echoing Darius. I think they're the future.
Yeah. Cool. Let's give it some rankings. Gav, since you mentioned this match, what would you rank it out of 5?
5 times. Yeah, I think 5.
Wow.
I'm giving it a 5.
I wouldn't quite go that far. I would give it a high 4. Unless we're going to go into Meltzer territory where we end up having 6 stars in the future, I'm going to reserve my 5s for things which I feel are impeccable. And there are matches which I feel like I have, I feel like in the fullness of time, I won't always say, oh my god, this match. But for that match on that pay-per-view, I feel like it was a high 4. Darius,
okay, you raise a good point, because if you rank it, what's the greatest match that you think of straight away?
Well, the one that comes... What one? Shawn and Taker?
Shawn and Taker.
Yeah, that's literally what I was about to say.
Steamboat and Savage.
Steamboat, Savage. Another one that comes straight to my mind is Brett and Bulldog from SummerSlam. Things like that, I feel like that's they're kind of immortal matches.
Right.
So this, without it being immortal... In terms of it being a quality match, I think it was as good as it could be. Sometimes it might be if they do literally have a match 2 years down the line and they say, oh, it started here, and then they put that same match on in 2 years, I think the history to it will be what makes it that 5-star.
Yeah.
Darius, how about you?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I was originally going with 5, but it has, you are right, it does have to have that, a sort of speciality around it, and, the history behind it, and, a bit, maybe a title on the line, maybe go, like, not that it wasn't long enough, but maybe go a little bit longer, until if you're talking about true sort of 5-star matches, as you said, like Shawn and Taker, then, fair enough, it's got to be a high 4.
Okay, moving on then. Next up we had Lucha Brothers and FTR. Anyone thoughts?
I thought it was a great match, yeah.
It was a great match.
I'm not going to give it 5. Yeah, I would rate that probably about high 3.
Do you know what? I would give it, like, if we're going to rank it straight away, right? I'll give it a low 4. Right. If I was going to say the Derby match, I'd say it was like 4.5. If we're going to say high 3s, low 3s, 4.5s, unspecified ranking system, I think it was like a low 4. It was a 4. I feel like I'd be cheating it to give it less than a 4. But yeah, just like I think both teams showed off their best. I feel like FTR, they show off why they are like the modern tag team specialists. The Lucha Brothers showed off why they, in terms of lucha style, they're untouchable. My God, there was that moment. Do you guys remember where literally on the screen, Rey Fenix just like flew in from the top of like this he landed in from the top of the screen. It's like how can he fly like that? It's impossible.
Yeah. He's miraculous to me. I'm just like thinking, how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In particular, go on, Darius.
It's almost like defies the laws of physics. You're looking at it like, it shouldn't be possible. Like, how, balance is just unbelievable on him, to be fair.
Like Dante Martin, I've said it before. He's unbelievable with what he can do. Yeah.
Are we happy with the result, Luchas over FTR there?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. I love both tag teams. Like, I absolutely love tag team wrestling. Really into Spot Fest and really into the sort of way that FTR do it as well. Do you mean the no flips, just fist sort of, whatever you bring to the table. It's tag team wrestling. I always love, like WWE in the Attitude Era had a great tag team division. I think I've spoken before about how I felt that Triple H created a fantastic tag division in NXT around about 2015.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a great, absolutely superb tag match. I think Lucha Brothers number 1 has to be FTR. Number 2, my favourite tag team, so I'm a bit biased if I'm honest with you. So always gonna love it.
Okay, so Darius, did we get a ranking from you for this match?
No, but I'm a low 4 for me, I think.
Okay, let's move on. Bryan Danielson and Miro.
Yeah, again, great match.
Yeah, I feel like this was the match where both of them could say, well, hey, WWE, we could have done this for you. Like, literally a year ago, or whenever Miro left, he's like, this could have been your match, And
sorry.
I was going to say, especially as well, Miro going into it was an unknown entity, because obviously it was going to be Moxley. But you wouldn't look at this match and feel like it was a last-minute replacement match. No.
Very good match.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like, I just thinking about this pay-per-view, saying about ranking them, I feel like most of them are going to be like a 4-star rank from me.
Exactly.
I don't know what else I'm going to say, to be honest. Yeah. It's like, it's a force, everything, and the weird thing is, it's like, if I'd say that every match is 4 stars, I'd see that basically as a 5-star pay-per-view. And that probably shouldn't make sense, but it probably does. Any other thoughts on it then?
Again, brilliant match. And my question was, this whole neck issue with Miro, has that been documented before? Like, what's the story behind it all? It started with, from my view, I haven't been watching it for about a year.
Yeah.
With Sammy Guevara's friend, what's his name?
Fugo Del Sol.
Yeah. Did it just start from that, or was there something documented before?
I don't think so, actually. I don't know. He might have like a more of a history, but I don't remember actually off the top of my head.
But yeah, another way. It it protects him as well, that loss. So, yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Like, that's off to Daniel Bryan, to be fair, because he's been wrestling since he got... I know this is what he wanted to do. This is a big part of the reason why he left WWE in the first place. But he's gone out there and he's proven his worth. He's been absolutely fantastic, no matter who he's wrestled. The match against Miro was a lot better than I was expecting, to be honest with you. I was like, oh, here we go. Two ex-WWE guys, I'm sure a lot of WWE matches are going to have something to say about this.
Yeah.
But, after that third match, I was like, what? Like, the two matches came before it, and that match, I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, what a way to open a pay-per-view. It was almost as if it was WrestleMania night, and everybody went out to try and out-wrestle each other.
Yeah.
And that's just the mentality that everybody had, and blew me away.
And do you know what? The thing is, sometimes that there could be a downside to that. But because AEW... Because, if everyone has a 5-star match, then, how you can't essentially do that. People get a bit, fed up of it. But because AEW literally have 4 pay-per-views a year, it means that when it hits a pay-per-view, then you can do every match as a bigger match, right? So, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay, let's move on. So next up, we had the 6-man tag. The Super Click, which is the Young Bucks and Adam Cole, and against Christian Cage and Jurassic Express. So, what are we thinking here?
Okay, I put a little note here.
Yeah.
It was good, but it did lose me in some parts of the match. I can't remember, I'll be honest, why I said that.
Perhaps a bit too long, because if you're going 90 miles an hour, how long was the match? It wasn't a short 22 minutes. So with as much as but again, it's a 6-man tag, so
yeah,
there's going to be a lot in it.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay. The other part that I was there thinking, okay, you had that 6-man tag where was it Force Count anywhere? Was it?
Minneapolis Street Fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, so I was there thinking there was another similar match as well on the card.
Oh, yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But I was like, I don't know if it's because of that, where I was there thinking...
Do you know, it's an interesting thing. One of the few criticisms I can say about AEW is sometimes you'll see the same idea on the same show come up a couple of times, and it feels like there's a lack of communication somewhere. And obviously this show was on the 13th, which was the anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's death. And so a few of them were paying tribute to Eddie Guerrero, which I've got no problem with. But coming back to the Lucha match, the Lucha Brothers match, the fact when I think Dax went for the Three Amigos, and then Ray hit the Three Amigos, and then he hit the Frog Splash, 1, 2, kick out. That should have been it. That literally, that should have been it.
They saved it for Jericho.
Well, okay, Gav. Here was my conspiracy theory. Yeah. I can imagine Chris Jericho, who literally, obviously knew Eddie Guerrero. Yeah. I don't know if Ray Fenix ever would have met him. Possibly, maybe not. Who knows? But I can imagine Jericho being in the back, watching that and saying that should have been the finish. Screw it. I'll do it as the finish line. You know what I mean? Because when I saw that...
It just proves the point, though. It kind of, pays homage to Eddie as well at the same time. It's like no one can do it as good as Eddie then.
Yeah, true. Although Jericho, he's like, no, I'm taking that as my finish.
I'm taking it. Depends which way you look at it.
Okay, so what are we saying? Well, obviously individually we can. Gav, what do you give Jurassic Express and Christian against the Super Click? 3? Yeah, I think I'm inclined to agree a high 3, just because, I don't think it quite hit the heights of everything else. Darius, how about you?
A high 3. I felt it had a very sort of attitude era sort of feel to the match. Probably because of Christian. Some little bits of comedy in there as well. I think when he went to spray the mist and ended up in someone else's eyes, it was like that's definitely out of the Edge and Christian playbook, that one. The concerto as well. I don't know how they can call it concerto, but they used the term. Seen it million. Well, I say in times, but a really good match to be fair. But what it was like I said, watching Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys versus the Hardys. Very much sort of that staple. Not like I wasn't disappointed with it or anything, but I had seen it, quite a lot of times before, if I'm honest with you.
No, certainly. Okay, next up we've got Kodian Pack versus Malachi and Andrade El Idio. Thoughts, anyone?
It didn't connect for me.
Oh. I enjoyed the match.
I did. But I think there was so many moving parts in it.
Yeah.
And you didn't know who to root for. And
this is the Cody problem, isn't it?
Yeah, and okay, Cody and Pac. Is Pac a heel? Is he a face?
I have no idea anymore. Like, he's in Death Triangle, I think, still, with Lucha Brothers. But, yeah, Pac is an absolute heel, but apparently he isn't.
So, and there was a few botches as well, and it was just like, okay, you kind of lost me. I don't know what to do. Don't know how to react.
Yeah, okay. Darius, how about you?
Yeah, not a bad match, to be fair, all in all. Again, agree with you. It didn't really... It almost just felt like it was there just to fill up time. I don't know if that's because the whole Cody thing's going on at the moment. And like you said, Pat is meant to be a heel. Is he a heel? Is he not? The only thing I will say is I absolutely love Malachi Black. I think he's brilliant. And I think that Andrade El Idolo should stay with him in the House of Black. I think they should become a faction if he's going to create a House of Black.
Now that's an interesting idea, because yeah, I do feel that this was a bunch of odds and ends put together. Malachi Black, I feel he is still on a high since coming in. I don't think he's really done anything wrong. Andrade hasn't been used that much. Arguably hasn't done anything that's captured anyone's imagination. Pac,
I think he's brilliant. But yeah, I agree to that degree. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They could have brought him in straight. If they brought him in and said this guy is going to be a world champion when he's ready, but I feel like he's just been floating in the background. They brought in Chalvo at some point, and then I don't even know what happened to Chalvo in the end. It feels like they just.
Flair was meant to come in, and that's why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right from hell.
Shit, yeah. Oh, that explains it. Yeah. Okay, so let's give this a quick rating. What do we say, Darius?
Oh, I could give it a low 3. The match was pretty good, but still no connection there.
Yeah. Gav?
2.5.
2.5. I would give it a solid 3, but yeah, I do agree that it was the match of the card which felt like it didn't. It didn't have the development it needed going in. Next up, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Tay Conti, with Britt Baker coming out on top. Fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with what Gav said the other day. I think Tay did a lot better than I was expecting. In the past, you can see she's a little bit green.
Yeah.
She does, miss timing and these sorts of things. There was hardly any of it in the women's match. I think they did really well. I really do like Britt Baker. I don't think there's anyone there really who can take the title off her at the moment. Who they can pin the women's division on. Maybe Ruby Soho.
Yeah, I think that's their best bet.
Who?
Thunder Rosa.
Oh yeah, Thunder Rosa definitely can. Yeah.
Keep forgetting Rosa. Rosa is a beast, to be fair. I do like Rosa. But all in all, great match, yeah. Really good.
Yeah. No, yeah, I felt this was a really good match. I felt that I think it over-delivered, I do agree there. I felt like perhaps Tay isn't... Yeah, she's perhaps greener, but Dr. Britt Baker, how long has she been wrestling? She hasn't been wrestling ever so long. From year 1 of AEW to year 2, it's insane.
It's crazy. Because I was going to say, when I left off, she was kind of really green.
Yeah.
And then coming back, because I missed the whole Thunder Rosa feud, hearing the little snippets about it, I still need to go and watch that match. And
I do.
come back to this, and I'm just like, this is a completely different person. Just.
Yeah, she's obviously really putting the work in. I think Tay Conte has as well, to be fair. Which is really good to see, to be honest with you. I think Britt Baker going heel was the best decision they ever made as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But still keeping her best friends with Tony Schiavone.
I was just going to say, what is that all about?
It's a weird thing. Like, literally, when it started, she was, like, literally saying to Tony Schiavone, you prick, and stuff like this. She was having a go at him. And people liked it. There were memes. And then they brought them back out the next week. And then, like, the week after, they were like, even though she was literally bullying him the first 2 weeks, it was just like, yeah, we're best friends. And then I loved it when Adam Cole debuted. And Schiavone's in the ring. He's like, first thing, Schiavone, you look at her. And that was great. Because they haven't shared the screen together. They haven't had Cole and Baker on screen together yet, but
I think that's good.
I think it's good. I think it's good. But they're not pretending it's not a thing either.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. CM Punk and Eddie Kingston.
Again, I mean, like I said, match of the night for me. Storytelling, they're both animals. It's a really sort of slowed down in comparison to the matches that came before it. But that's exactly what the show needed, I think, at that point, to be fair, because it was Hell's Bells, all, as fast as you like. Really hard-hitting, proper sort of brawl. It felt like a fight. That's what I loved about it.
And what was so good is that literally they only built this match up over like 2 weeks. Yeah. I think that they could have built this into like a 3-month feud. I don't think they are. Again, without giving spoilers for Dynamite, I
kind of heard what happened. So.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going in a different direction. But I think they should continue this.
I think it's because is Eddie injured?
Is he?
I'm not sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
If he's injured, then yeah.
Like Eddie became a star for me. That match, and also just before it, like I don't know if you read what he wrote, like his whole life, and it was like, wow.
Oh, guys, if you haven't seen it, Eddie Kingston was in NWA just before the pandemic, and he cuts promos there, which was literally like it wasn't carrying the show. But it was like people were like saying, "You've got to see like this guy Eddie Kingston who."
Got to stop and listen.
Yeah, it's like, and I was like, I've heard the name as like some indie guy, but I didn't know who he was really before NWA.
No.
But yeah, no, I thought the match was great. Punk, I think, is having all of his dream matches. I think Punk is putting. Not to say that Kingston didn't contribute to it, but I think Punk every single match is putting the matches together. And it's like, these are the matches that I've always dreamt of having for like 10 years, 20 years, but especially like over the last 7 years. It's like, I'd love to have this in a match. I'd love to have this in a match. The fact that Kingston and the audience were completely split. You know where I'm going with this. Right. But the fact that, let's go CM Punk, let's go King Eddie or whatever, right? They were so split. But if one point got such a reaction from the audience, it's when the audience, the penny dropped for them. Shoulder block, turn and slam, hand comes up, and the audience just like, they loved it but hated it at the same time. What do you think possessed Punk to do that? Where did that come from?
Well, I think it's because he's been mimicking a lot of matches in the past.
Yeah. So
he's incorporated some of his stuff, like from his feuds from before into it. I think he did help himself, really.
I think the thing which people have commented perhaps has been missing from CM Punk is when he was in WWE and he was the rebel. People, because he was saying everything that people were thinking at home that they didn't like about WWE. In AEW, he's like, "Wow, this is good here," and it's lacked that edge. So this
he's
feud
a different guy in this.
this feud with Kingston.
he's older as well now. So like during that time, he's 7 years. He's matured over that time, and what's he going to be angry about right now?
Yeah.
He's in AEW. They appreciate him. He's getting to do what he wants to do.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so what are we all saying? That's 4-star. Is anyone going to push that to the 5? You know.
No, I'd say 4.
Yeah, I'd say 4. I think they've got more matches in them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think they can get to a 5-star match. Okay, next up, obviously, Inner Circle against America's top team.
Okay. MMA guys, love you in the octagon. Not so much in the ring.
Yeah.
The timing was a little bit off in some places. We need to do some more work with that.
There was one bit. Well. I think Jericho went for a lion salt, and he was just like hanging, waiting to get hit for what felt like an age. Yeah.
There's a few of those incidences, like Jericho waiting around.
Yeah.
If you see, he was outside the ring as well, by the ring barrier, and he was like just waiting there.
Yeah.
Where is he? Like even with the kendo stick as well. He was like, "You're supposed to be hitting me with the kendo stick."
Yeah. I think it was the correct result though. Like, I don't think this feud needs necessarily to continue. Oh, do you know what, guys? One thing I've skipped over just before we go to the main event. There was a surprise debut on the pay-per-view.
Yes.
Jay Lethal.
Jay Lethal.
Yeah. That was. What thoughts on that?
I like it. I want to see Jay in AEW.
Yeah. Okay. Well, again, without they announced it, so watch Dynamite. Watch Dynamite's the thing. The one thing I would say that was I felt like the interview didn't go as well as it could, and there's one point where I felt like he was about to say, "Oh, and I'll wrestle Sammy," and I felt like he forgot what day Dynamite was on. And like Shivani was like, "Yeah, on Wednesday." But yeah, no, that's a hell of a get for them. Now, I haven't seen a ton of
Savage's music.
Yeah. Well, it's because black machismo, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Did you guys see All In? Like, All In? Yeah, All In. That was the original before AEW. So obviously, he literally did when he like you saw him backstage and he's Jay Lethal, and I think Lanny Poffo turned up and accompanied him to the ring and like gave him actual Macho Man's like jacket and hat and stuff, and he came out as Black Machismo, literally wearing Macho Man's ring gear. You know. But I'm glad that they didn't bring him out, because he can always do that on a given night. But I'm glad they brought him out as Jay Lethal. I haven't seen a ton of Ring of Honor in the last few years, to be honest. But I loved him in TNA, so I'm hoping that he's still everything he was then. Okay, main event time: Hangman Adam Page and Kenny Omega. Thoughts? I agree.
I think I already saw my notes where I said that the match got spoiled. Thank you, a particular website, well, on YouTube.
Yeah,
it was really good. I just was glad that they made it out alive as well.
Yeah.
With some of those moves that they pulled off, I was cringing. So.
It was one of these matches where I felt pretty certain that Paige this was Paige's moment, but they left some of the pin attempts quite close, where I was literally like, oh, he's not going to do it now, and I was like, if it's not now, when? And it was one of those ones where you start to feel nervous that it's going to be the result that you don't want in the end. But yeah, no, I thought it was a spectacular match. Paige, I think, has absolutely earned this at this stage. I look forward to what he's going to do as world champion. My one worry for Hangman Page is because obviously they've got, and especially Bryan Danielson became #1 contender on this show. I worry that they're going to fast track Daniel Bryan or a CM Punk, or something will happen where they'll say like, oh well, I don't think he's going to like lose and be a transitional champion, but I worry that his first reign isn't going to be as good as his second reign.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my one worry. It'll be interesting to see what he does as a babyface world champion.
I think the thing to do, if this is going to be your guy now, we all know that, I'll get it right, Bryan Danielson, we know his storied career and whatnot, and I think that maybe he's going to put him over, like use his star power to give Hangman the run. So he's going to build the credibility from there.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen.
Yeah. It'll be a really good match as well. I'm really looking forward to it, to be fair.
Oh yes, you said you haven't seen it, right?
No, I haven't seen
the Omega,
I know the outcome, but I haven't seen the Omega Hangman match as of yet. I plan on watching it tomorrow when I'm meant to be working, if I'm honest with you. So hopefully no one I work with is watching. But I'll watch Dynamite tonight and I'll watch that match tomorrow. Now, because I sort of like half awake, half asleep, and obviously I heard the ending. And I was like, come on.
Yeah.
And just couldn't get away from it. The story challenge, fantastic. 2 years in the making. One of the, used to think Hangman, what is the future of AEW? Or the future is now for Hangman, I suppose. I think you'll get about 3 or 4 months out of him.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Potentially then... sorry, Ken.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, potentially then, he might take Kenny's longest reign off him. If anyone's going to do it, I think it might be him.
Okay.
How long was Kenny's reign? Sorry.
It's a good
just
point.
under a year, wasn't it? It's like 354 days, something like that.
That's the longest reign now.
346 days. Just looked it up.
Got the wrong way round. 46, and that's the longest reign. It's only been, including Hangman, 4 champions?
Yeah, Jericho, Moxley, Omega, and now Page.
Yeah, now Page. Yeah.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Awesome. So, guys, we will wrap this up here because I know we're all busy people. We've all got places to go, things to do, and stuff like this. But let's find out quickly where we can find everyone on social media. I like that we did a show where we could just deep dive into and react to a show like this. We'll do more of these. Gav, where can the people find you?
I'm me right here next time.
Booyah.
Oh yeah.
Darius, where can the people find you?
So the people can find me at All Elite Wrestling UK. Hopefully the UK's premier All Elite Wrestling fan group on Facebook.
Fab. My name is David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky. Smash the subscribe button on youtube.com/Extreme Improv. And there is going to be a lot more Slam Jam stuff with some news coming soon. So watch out for that. But from me, from everyone else, until next time.
No Iron Sheik.
Oh shit, yeah, the Iron Sheik. Yeah, sorry. Oh my god, dude. Right, thank you, Gav. If we don't end on a thought from the Iron Sheik, so we do need to get this breaking news update. Iron Sheik. Joe, also, like this whole show, I've been wearing, check this out, CM Punk versus Street Fighter.
The Street Fighter t-shirt.
I almost like had it on this whole time. You can't see it because I'm sat like this.
Yeah, I love that t-shirt. I love the Street Fighter crossover.
Yeah.
It's another one as well, isn't it?
It's Ryu against Adam Cole.
That's the one.
Yeah. The thing is, though, I would have preferred it if it was Punk versus Ryu. But this is how they get you. You have to get both. Right, so the Iron Sheik. The news update from the Iron Sheik is, after much consideration, go fuck yourself. And then see the Iron Sheik. So, from me, from everyone else, stay safe, stay extreme.